Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Rant. Raw just ended, and I'm going to try to breeze through this as quickly as possible. September 16th, 2013, from Cleveland, Ohio, Raw. The show starts with a recap of what happened last night at the pay-per-view. Starting off with what happened between Punk, Axel, and Heyman, and Ryback interfering. And after that, they showed a recap of Orton versus Bryan. Whatever. Justin Roberts announces Daniel Bryan, and he comes out, and I happened to notice that the side plates on the belt were changed. The little plates, they have yes, yes, yes on them, whatever the fuck. Okay, fine. Bryan gets in the ring, he talks, and then there's yes, yes, and whatever. Triple H comes out, and he talks, and he brings up the fast count. And he brings out the referee, Scott Armstrong, and he shows the clip. He shows a couple of clips. First of all, he shows a clip of one of Scott's normal counts from the match. And it was very fair, 1, 2, not super fast. And then he shows the clip of the actual 3 count, the fast count, which was pretty quick, actually. Whatever the fuck. Blah, 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 blah. They show them both twice, and then they show them side by side for comparison. And then Triple H asks Armstrong to explain. The punchline is Armstrong tries to implicate Bryan, that they had some conspiracy, that they had colluded together to screw Randy out of the title. And at that point, Triple H gets all pissy and he says, okay, if that's the case, I have no choice but to basically hold up the title, vacate it basically. I'm not giving it back to Randy, which is probably the only good thing he did all night, but I'm not just going to let Bryan keep it. He wants Bryan to give him the belt back, and Randy comes out. And Randy looks pretty pissed off. So he's rushing down to the ring. And as he gets in, Triple H is like, alright, just calm down, both of you. You're both pretty mad, whatever the fuck. But you know what? I need Bryan to give me the belt back. Bryan doesn't want to give it back. He says, no! No! And so he goes to leave. Bryan does. He goes to leave with the belt. Triple H grabs him by the arm to pull him back, and as he does, Randy jumps up and RKO's Bryan. And Triple H don't give a shit. He grabs the belt and he leaves. And so they just show Randy standing there over Bryan, and then they cut to commercial break. After the commercial, Triple H and Stephanie are backstage talking whatever the hell. Randy comes up and he's like, what the hell, why didn't you just give me the title back? Stephanie gets up in his face and starts screaming at him. The little bitch finally decided to grow some balls and put some bass in her voice. She screams in his face. Basically what it amounts to is like, maybe you weren't the right one for the right man for the job to be the face of the company. Which, as you'll see, is basically supposed to light a fire under Randy to take him back to the ruthless bastard that he was before. When he DDT'd Stephanie on her fucking face and then kissed her right in front of Triple H while he was handcuffed. Remember that? Yeah. Anyways, back in the ring, Ambrose is already in the ring. And then Dolph Ziggler comes out. We've got a rematch from last night, although this one's not for the U.S. title. They put on a good match. There was a commercial break. Ambrose did the super double underhook suplex again. Ziggler did his repeating elbows thing. And the finish of the match was Ambrose was going to go for the headlock driver. He has him in the headlock and he's getting ready to go for it. Ziggler rolls backwards, kind of throwing Ambrose backwards, and then they both get up, and Ziggler jumps up, grabs him, and hits the zigzag, and gets the win. So Ziggler wins, but it doesn't matter, because it wasn't for the title. And for some strange reason, once again, Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, as Ziggler is leaving, announces, "But still your U.S. champion, Dean Ambrose." And I'm like, okay, but the match wasn't for the title, so why do we care? Whatever. They cut backstage to the office where the Big Show is there with Brad Maddox. And apparently they're waiting for Triple H and Steph. They cut to commercial. When they come back from the commercial, they're still in the office, Big Show's still there, Maddox is still there, and now Triple H and Stephanie are there. Whatever the fuck. The punchline is Stephanie wants Big Show to sit in the office and don't do anything unless she asks him to do something. And also during this segment, I think it was Triple H said that the main event of the night is going to be Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. Okay, fine. We cut back to the commentators and they segue into showing pictures from the pay-per-view last night, once again, of the Punk, Axel and Heyman, and Ryback shit. And apparently, or supposedly, we're going to get an explanation later on. Fandango comes out. And he even gets his little Burning Man pyro thingy above the ring, which I noticed was there right from the beginning of the show, because you could kind of see it hanging above the ring. Anyways, they cut to commercial. And when they come back from the commercial, R-Truth comes out. And as he's coming out, they recap the stupid dance contest from SmackDown last week. Whatever. We start a match. Fandango versus Truth. This was a decent match. Johnny Wind with his guillotine leg drop. Okay, fine, whatever. Backstage, Dusty Rhodes is here. And he's surrounded by a bunch of the jobbers, the primetime players, the Usos, the, whatever the fuck. And they cut to commercial. Coming back from the commercial, they recap Cody getting fired from a couple of weeks ago, and then Goldust losing to Randy the next week. And then Dusty comes out to the ring, and he talks. He's talking about family and trying to get, Cody's job back. And he basically calls out Stephanie because apparently Stephanie had a proposition for him. So Stephanie comes out, and the first thing she does is she pulls out this thing, and she hands it to Dusty. This is just a little present for the wedding that Cody had, right? He opens up, it's a little envelope, and it has inside of it a gift card for Bed Bath & Beyond. Right. Dusty just kind of throws it away, like, this is insulting, We get to the point, and what Stephanie's going to do is she has a proposal. Like I said, she can either give Cody his job back, or she will give that spot on the roster because apparently there's only one spot available, or she can give that spot to Goldust, Dusty's other son. She's going to let Dusty choose. Dusty doesn't want to choose because he doesn't want to choose between his two sons. And he brings up the fact that Stephanie has 3 daughters, and he's like, you don't choose between them, do you? Whatever the fuck. Dusty tells her to go to hell. And she's like, okay, if you feel that way, bring out the Shield. The Shield guys start coming out. And they surround the ring like normal, and of course it's looking like they're going to beat the hell out of Dusty, but Stephanie stops them. She says, hold on a second, I've got another idea. Oh, Big Show, come on out. Out comes Big Show. He comes out and he gets in the ring. And once again, Stephanie gives Dusty a choice. Do you want to be mauled by the Shield, or do you want to be knocked out by Big Show? Once again, Dusty doesn't want to decide. So Stephanie says, alright, fine, I'll decide for you. Show, knock him out. And so, of course, Show hesitates again. Oh yeah, the Shield guys go out and grab chairs so that they can threaten Big Show and, threaten Dusty. It's like, okay, do you want Dusty to get mauled with chairs by the Shield, or do you want to just get knocked out by Big Show? What ends up happening is Show has to kind of hug Dusty and say, I'm sorry, I don't really want to do this, but I have to. He clocks Dusty. But before Dusty can fall down, Big Show grabs him again and kind of helps him go down gentle. This was actually really sad watching it. But of course, Stephanie's loving it because, she's a heartless bitch. So her and the Shield leave. Medics have to come down to check on Dusty, and they end up stretchering him out. And they cut to commercial. When they come back, they show a replay of it. And then they cut to backstage where they're still stretchering him out to the ambulance. Big Show's there, and a bunch of other people are looking, and... so they load him into the ambulance, and Big Show gets in there with them. And so they take Dusty and Show to the hospital. They cut back to the ring, and it's time for another train wreck. The stupid divas are in the ring again. But this time, it's both of the Funkadactyls and Brie Bella versus Layla, Alicia, and Oksana. AJ and Natalya are on commentary. But for the first half of the match, Natalya's headset's not working. And finally what ends up happening is Lawler gives Natty his headset. Whatever. The match was atrocious. What wound up happening was a big brawl broke out between all of them. And Brie hit, I'm guessing, her stupid little X Factor facebuster thing on probably Alicia Fox and pinned her. But either way, whatever. After the match, AJ and Natalya have a stare down with each other. Whatever. They cut backstage to show that The Miz and Brad Maddox, the GM, are talking somewhere in one of the backstage areas. We can't hear what they're saying, but it's just a really, really brief, oh, they're talking. Okay, and they cut to commercial. When they come back, they recap Dusty getting KO'd again, and Damien Sandow is in the ring. And they show a recap of Sandow winning the Money in the Bank. Don't know why. Ricardo comes out and he introduces Rob Van Dam, and Rob Van Dam comes out, and they show pics from last night, the World Heavyweight Championship match. Whatever. We have a match. Sandow and RVD. It was meh. RVD wins with the 5-star. Oh yeah, Rob wins, and Sandow's music plays for some reason. The sound guy screwing up. Let's see. Natalya's headset, and then playing the wrong music. But they do fix it, and they start playing RVD's music. He loses. And then Sandow gets on the mic and he says, but still, your Money in the Bank holder and guaranteed future world champion, me, Damien Sandow. And then Sandow's music starts playing again. Whatever. Okay. After that, the commentators say, the reason why Miz was talking with Brad Maddox is Miz wanted a match with Randy Orton. And that's going to happen next. They cut to commercial. When they come back, Triple H is in the office with Scott Armstrong, the referee, and they're talking. And basically, again, the punchline is Triple H says we can't have any kind of shenanigans with the referees. We can't tolerate that behavior, so you're fired. He fires the referee. Honestly, I can't feel bad because I always hated Scott Armstrong's refereeing. I don't know what it was, but the guy just wasn't a very good referee. Whatever. Randy comes out, down to the ring. And then The Miz comes out. And since they're in Cleveland, it's pretty much The Miz's hometown. As Miz is coming out, he goes over the barricade down in the corner by the commentators. And there's The Miz's parents in the crowd. And he's hugging them. Randy comes up and starts beating the shit out of The Miz right in front of him. They cut to a commercial. When they come back, Miz is coming back down the ramp. I guess they were taking him to go see the doctor or something. Apparently his shoulder was hurt. Whatever. But Miz is coming back to the ring. He still wants to have this match. So back in the ring, they start the match. And, of course, they start fighting. It doesn't last long because they end up on the outside of the ring, both of them. And the referee counts them both out. Double count-out finish. But it doesn't matter because the story here is Randy beats the ever-loving piss out of The Miz. Throws him over the commentary table, drags him over right in front of The Miz's parents and starts beating the hell out of him there. And then Randy DDTs Miz off of the barricade. So it's like his little hung DDT, but off of the barricade. He plants him there, and then he throws him in the ring, and then he grabs a chair. And he gets in the ring, and he puts the chair around Miz's head, like he's going to Pillmanize it. And he's looking at it, and he was just going to stomp it, but then he backs up. He takes a run up, and he jumps, and he knee drops. And the implication was he was supposed to knee drop the chair and hurt The Miz. But they showed a great camera angle at it, where it basically exposed that Randy's knee just landed on Miz's back and didn't come anywhere near the fucking chair. So, oopsie. Anyways, Randy just kind of stands there over The Miz while medics come out and they have to basically stretcher The Miz out too. They cut to commercial. When they come back, Ryback's music hits. And he comes out with Paul Heyman, who is being wheeled in a wheelchair by Curtis Axel. Heyman and Ryback are there, and Axel just leaves. So apparently he's meaningless. Not that I didn't already know that. Anyways, Heyman starts talking. He thanks Ryback for saving him, whatever the fuck. It's really, really weird stuff. He even kisses Ryback on the cheek. And then Ryback starts talking and he says, I hate bullies. I can't stand bullies, and I can't stand the way CM Punk was bullying Paul Heyman at the show last night. Again, this is stupid. You don't like bullies, but you yourself are you're a self-hating piece of shit. Whatever. They leave, finally, after a segment that was way too goddamn long and way too goddamn boring. They hype up the Bryan vs. Reigns match, and they show another Los Matadores video, and they cut to commercial. And when they come back, they recap the stupid thing from Heyman and Ryback. Whatever. Back in the ring, we already have 3 tag teams in the ring, the Real Americans, Tons of Funk, and the Usos. This is going to be another tag team elimination match for the number 1 contendership to the tag team titles. Since apparently the primetime players couldn't get it done last night, I guess we need new number 1 contenders. And like I said, it's elimination rules, which they didn't say, or at least I didn't think they said it, but whatever. They didn't mention it up until the point where, let's see, Tensai was beating the crap out of one of the Usos, I think. And Cesaro got a blind tag off of the Uso. And the Uso got the big baldy bomb from Tensai. And then, as Tensai was down on all fours after having slammed the guy, Cesaro jumps over him and rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. And then they say, okay, the Tons of Funk are eliminated. And I'm like, it was elimination? Okay. So the match continues with just the Real Americans and the Usos. They cut to a commercial break, and what ends up happening is the Usos win with the stupid Superfly Splash. Whatever. So the Usos are #1 contenders again to the tag team titles, even though they already had a chance, and they failed to beat the Shield. So why they're giving them another chance, I don't know. Back at the commentary table, Michael Cole informs us that they've finally gotten word from the hospital. Dusty and The Miz are both okay. Okay. More Bryan and Reigns hype, and they cut to another commercial. When they come back, Bray Wyatt, they have another video promo of him, and it sucks. And they recap Dusty getting knocked out again. And then they show Daniel Bryan backstage looks like he's coming towards, like the entryway area. And you see all these other superstars kind of like patting him on the back, cheering him on. And I'm like, I don't know why in the hell they're doing this. But you know what? After what happens at the end, it actually makes sense. So anyways, they show him whatever the fuck. They cut to another commercial. And when they come back from the commercial, all 3 members of the Shield are already in the ring. And then Bryan comes out. And then Randy's music hits, and he comes back out. Can you see where this is going? Anyways. They start the match, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. And it was a good match. Randy sits in a little chair over by the commentators. He's not on commentary, but he's just sitting. He's watching, whatever the hell. Bryan was able to lock in the Indian Deathlock and do the forearm shots with it. During the match, they started showing the replays of the different counts from the match from Night of Champions last night, the referee counts. They show the quick count again, and they show the normal count, and then they show them side by side. And this is like, the match is going on in the little box up here, and then the replays of the counts are going on in a bigger box down here. I'm like, okay, but like, ugh. And by the way, JBL was absolutely terrible on commentary. JBL is full-on heel, and he's full-on siding with Triple H. Calling Daniel Bryan a thief. He stole the title. He was working with the referee. Anyways. Reigns gets thrown to the outside, and Bryan goes to do the suicide dive on him. But Reigns catches him, and then slams him back first up against the apron of the ring. So that was kind of interesting. There's another commercial, and shortly after they came back from the commercial, Bryan missed the big diving headbutt. Reigns got out of the way. Reigns was down in the corner, and Rollins was over on the outside of the ring, over by the commentary desk. And Bryan comes running, and he goes feet first through the ropes, and he nails Rollins hard, and Rollins flies back and bangs his fucking head up against the bottom of the commentary table. I'm like, oh shit, he's got a concussion. It looked damn hard, because Bryan seriously shoved him way hard with that kick. Yeah. Bryan is able to lock in the yes lock on Reigns, and just as you would predict, Randy comes in and breaks it up, and so obviously a DQ is called, so Bryan wins by DQ, I guess. Immediately, Randy gets locked in the yes lock, but Rollins and Ambrose come in and they start beating up Bryan, and they're all beating up Bryan. Randy gets up and Rollins is up and Reigns is up, and okay, fine. Randy goes and get a chair, just like he did to The Miz earlier, and they basically set up to do the same thing. He puts Bryan's head in the chair and he backs up like he's going to knee drop it, and Randy's in the corner up towards the ramp, and the camera is looking straight up the ramp at the entryway, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of people start running out and they start coming down. Oh look, it's all the superstars that were patting Bryan on the back earlier. They come out for the save, and as soon as they started coming down, Randy headed for the fucking hills. He turned tail like a chicken shit. He ran for the hills. He slid out of the ring and dove out through the fucking crowd. He wanted no part of the ass whooping that was about to fall on him. No, he left the Shield to get their asses kicked by the superstars that have come out. Kofi was one of the guys that came out. He wound up getting speared by Reigns, but it didn't matter. Ambrose got thrown the hell out of the ring. Reigns got thrown out of the ring. And they were trying to throw Rollins out, but then somebody comes up and they bring him back in and they throw him down. And Bryan rears back and he comes charging and hits the big super knee on Rollins. And Rollins sells it like it's gruesome death, because it fucking is. And then all the other superstars, they lift Bryan up on their shoulders and it's yes, yes, yes. And that's how the show ends. So we finally get at least a good ending to the show. It's about damn time that the roster, the superstars, start standing up to Triple H, the administration, Stephanie, Randy, the Shield. The Shield got the shit beat out of them. And Rollins gets to eat that knee. He seriously looked like he's probably got a concussion after that. Let's see, getting his head slammed into the table, and then his head slamming against the mat after eating that super knee. If he doesn't have a concussion, I'll be damn impressed. He's going to have a pounding headache at the least after that. But yeah, like I said, we had a decent ending to the show for once. And overall, we had a couple of good matches. I'll just go back over them real quick. Ambrose and Ziggler was good, of course. Like I said, those two put on a clinic last night, and this was still pretty damn good. Fandango and Truth was decent. The Trainwreck Divas match, who gives a shit? Sandow and RVD wasn't really that great. Orton and Miz wasn't really much of a match. It was just basically an excuse to have Randy beat the hell out of the Miz. And then the three-way tag team match really wasn't all that great. And I don't understand why they're giving the Usos another shot at the belts. They failed to beat the Shield once already. They don't deserve another shot. They never deserved a shot in the first place. And then Reigns and Bryan was actually a good match up until the DQ. But, you know, whatever. We get a good ending. I'll give them credit. The show was alright. The ending made up for a lot of it being boring. But that's it for Raw. I need to get going to my midnight release for GTA 5. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you next time, probably for more SmackDown spoilers. I can't imagine wanting to watch SmackDown, or being able to because I'm working. But it'll probably be Wednesday again for more SmackDown spoilers, so we will see you then. Thank you, and good night.